Hello, my name is Nathan Singh. I'm one of the solution architects at Cognitus and one of the key architects that helped develop the Cognitus industry solution for aerospace and defense for incurred cost reporting. In this video, I'd like to give an overview of some of the capabilities that the Cognitus industry solution has in supporting incurred cost submissions and reporting. So what is an incurred cost submission? Well, if you're watching this video, you probably already are pretty aware of what exactly an incurred cost submission is. It's a mechanism to balance a contractor's actual indirect cost to the indirect cost provisionally billed in a contractor's fiscal year. It consists of 15 separate schedules, schedules A through O. Some of those schedules can have multiple schedules depending on the disclosure statement of the customer. But roughly, schedules A through E are a presentation of the indirect cost pools and base components. From an SAP perspective, your indirect cost pools usually translate to cost centers or cost center groups, and your base components are cost directly posted to projects or WBS elements. Schedule H is a presentation of direct cost by the contract, and that normally is cost that's directly posted to a project/WBS element. Schedule I represents the cumulative cost and billed amounts by contract, as well as a calculation of the over or under billing. The data is extracted from your contracts and billings repository to pull these schedules, as well as Schedule K, which is time and material contracts. Additional schedules like F, J, L, and O pull data from SAP, S/4HANA, and various other places. For example, Schedule J will query your procurement data, where Schedule F will query your assets. Schedule L will be your GL and payroll, and Schedule O will be an extraction of contracts that have been closed out. Again, if you're watching this video, you're probably very familiar with this DCAA ICE model, in which shows the interdependency and interrelationship of each of these schedules. The Cognitus industry solution allows for the following schedules to be generated, schedules A through O. So what exactly does the Cognitus industry solution for incurred cost capability provide? Well, it provides a product which is configurable in nature to assist with schedules A through O to be extracted from your SAP S/4HANA environment. Now, what do we mean by configurable? It means each customer can define their layout, their subtotaling, their section, and calculation that goes into each of these schedules as per the customer's unique design and implementation. Any changes or tweaks can be done with the user interface of updating the configuration behind the schedules. This is opposed to countless iterations of coding with ABAP or other reporting tools. Any of the relevant data needed to submit an incurred cost claim can be assigned to a schedule and included as part of the output. As I mentioned previously, some of the data groupings that we would expect to see used to generate these schedules are things like cost centers, cost elements and cost element groups, projects, debit memo requests, contracts, condition types and pricing procedures to calculate your over/under billing, as well as your statistical key figures, which will support your intermediate cost pools. The forms are outputted in Excel or PDF. We have a fully enabled workflow to allow for customers to set up a approval waterfall in which perhaps an analyst takes the first cut at generating the schedules and can pass on higher and higher to a final sign-off before generating a consolidated schedule. Our solution is also fully integrated with any external FedRAMP compliant document management system, such as Huddle, Box, or Ignite. So from a collaboration perspective, if a customer chooses to use a document management repository to support their collaboration, our solution can do that as well. In addition, our development is built on the latest SAP S/4HANA technology using CDS views that also enable future integration if the results of these incurred cost claims would like to be integrated with the company's SAP Analytic Cloud solution. So with that said, I'd like to give an overview of the functionality that exists in the Cognitus SAP solution. I'm going to go to our Fiori app. In the Fiori app, we have a section discretely called out for incurred cost reporting. In here, you can go to the incurred cost report schedule, and this will be the analyst's front end. From here, they're able to generate, create a baseline for approval, make any updates to schedules, as well as consolidate the schedules. Here you see the schedules A through O that are listed. One thing to note that you can create as many unique claims within this tool as per your disclosure statement. So if perhaps you have a home office claim as well as an overall claim, you can use this tool to create two separate claims, and they will be integrated together through the setup. What I would like to do is take a brief moment to go over some of the capabilities we have from our configuration. To do that, we will go to our Cognitus IMG. Similar to setting up or configuring the solution in standard SAP S/4, the Cognitus toolset has its own customization guide. Under that, we have an incurred cost section. And from here, as I mentioned earlier, this is the configurable nature of the product. I'm not going to go through each of these tabs. And setting this up will be a joint effort with someone who has expertise in configuring the Cognitus incurred cost schedules, as well as working with your business subject matter experts in charge of designing the overhead cost structures and other supporting expertise for these schedules. But just to give a quick overview on what this configuration actually looks like, we provide, with the installation of the Cognitus product, all of the government dictated contract project types, things like cost plus, bid and proposal, firm fixed price, time and material. If there's additional contract project types, those can be added as simple as adding an additional data element right here in this configuration task. We also allow for the grouping of the presentation and calculation of the various schedules H, I, J based on contract project type. Finally, allowing for each of the contract project types to be assigned a grouping. And when I generate a consolidated schedule, the groupings will be made clear for how this is used to generate a consolidated schedule. I also mentioned that our solution can allow for the integration of any data element, things like cost centers, cost elements, project types. You can use this configuration node to provide computations, and that's all done through what is called the field catalog. This field catalog is what ties all of this together. And as I had mentioned, and as we looked at that DCAA ICE model, this concept here of reference schedule, which you can see right here, is what allows the calculation and extraction of one schedule to directly feed another schedule. In addition, you can see here, these configurable options allow the users to display what data is going to be extracted from where. So cost center groups, directly from a cost center, cost element groupings. For subcontracting, are you getting it from the purchase order or from the projects for your Schedule H's? So with that being said, I would like to go back to the front end of the collaboration of the incurred cost. And I'll show you an example of generating one of the schedules. Here you'll see 4 main buttons along the top, and this is the functionality that analysts can expect to use when generating and validating their incurred cost schedules. So I've created a Schedule A. To do this, an analyst can generate schedule. Here they'll be presented with 2 options. You can use the latest from the collaboration portal. We'll get into that capability in a second. But here we would just like to generate a new schedule. You also have the option to generate in PDF or Excel. In this case, let's just go PDF. And what you'll see here is, based on the configuration of this schedule, through all those configuration setups that I briefly showed prior, you can see that the Schedule A then pulls manufacturing, engineering, material handling. Any of your disclosure statement pools that need to be set up, here's how they'll be extracted and displayed, as well as your base, which is calculated against your project. Now, the next step that we can expect analysts to do is make use of the baseline version and collaboration and approval. In this case, we created a Schedule D for fringe. An analyst can go ahead and take a quick peek. Does everything look like it was expected? Obviously, this is again all part of the setup of what makes up your fringe. Let's say the analyst reviews it and says, yep, I would like to, let's do facilities. Now let's move on to the collaboration portal. You can see here that the baseline version has already been created. And from here, a user can go into the system extracted data, and they can make any adjustments. They can make a note. Save the adjustment. In addition, if they need to attach other documentation to that, they have the ability to pull in any external document that they'd like and attach it as validation for those adjustments. Now what we should be able to see when we re-execute this schedule, we use the latest from the collaboration portal. And you can see now, based on that adjustment, as well as the notes, it brings that adjustment in, and it is now part of the overall calculation of the adjustments. This functionality is available for any of the schedules in which adjustments could be made. Now I'd like to finally go to the end result. To do that, you're going to select all of these schedules. approvers going through the results of each of these schedules. As such, when we hit consolidate schedule, what we can expect the system to then do is go pull all of the data within the system. It's going to generate an Excel file. And this Excel file is going to generate a tab, just like the DCAA ICE model, for each of the schedules. In addition, the Excel model is going to allow Excel hyperlinks to reference the various schedules in which that data is being extracted. For example, here's our Schedule A, where engineering overhead is represented by Schedule C. Will take us right here to Schedule C. Part of Schedule C is intermediate pool, which is Schedule D. We'll take you right there. So on and so forth. So from a truly integrated perspective, our solution provides an Excel output with the linked schedule results. In addition, here's our Schedule H as an example. If you recall, showing the buckets, here you can see it, the buckets by cost type, T&M, fixed price, commercial, indirect. What you'll also notice is in each of these values, you can see the Excel formula that goes into the calculation of each of these, as well as the application of additional schedules, such as here. So this will allow you to understand why each of these calculations is coming out as it is. I would like to also show Schedule I. Again, this is a execution of your contracts and your current year claimed cost. This penalty clause makes use of Cognitus's contract flowdown capability, in which you can configure the unique FAR clauses that dictate whether a penalty clause is applicable or not for these contracts, as well as bringing in the payment voucher number and any contract limitations, which would be stored by condition types on your contract, ultimately coming up with your over-under billing. Our Schedule J is going to be extracting purchase orders, subcontracted purchase orders, tying it back to the prime contract, providing the contract value, the performance period of the subcontract, as well as the cost incurred in the fiscal year of that subcontract. Schedule K is going to show your time and material. In this case, we have material, ODC, G&A. It should also be noted that the labor that is presented in these time and material contracts are unique to the labor rate of each contract, not a generic labor rate based on activity type. It will be exclusively the labor rate of each contract. Finally, Schedule O will query all your contracts that have been closed out. I hope this gave a brief overview of some of the robust capability of the Cognitus Incurred Cost solution. Thank you, and look forward to working with you soon.